So there's no significant changes coming to MLS roster rules. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to MLS Moves. Please make sure you like this video down below. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that little bell notification so you never miss a video. Well, Don Garber met with some journalists last week leading up to the MLS Cup final, and they asked him several questions about the league going forward. You know, the calendar change, a couple other things, Club World Cup, how they were going to handle that. But the most important question that someone asked him was, would we see any significant changes as far as the spending rules for Major League Soccer? And this is what the commissioner had to say.
I wouldn't say it's significant. There's discussions going on. I wouldn't put it in the category of significant. MLS is constantly, every year, looking at ways that we could incentivize our teams to, use their resources better, to be very, very productive and efficient. We're in the middle of a collective bargaining agreement with the MLSPU. We've got a great relationship with them, but I don't anticipate anything significant happening in the next couple of years.
So as you can see, he said essentially there was no significant changes. My main question for Don Garber is, what exactly does that mean? What is his definition of significant? Is he saying that we're not going to do anything revolutionary like get rid of the salary cap, add 5 DPs? Is one DP considered insignificant to him? What does it mean to be significant in Don Garber's eyes? Like, what does that mean to him? We didn't really get any clarity because he only takes a certain handful of questions and he kind of dances around them. But that was the one thing he said that really stood out to me. Now, I think that that's a huge mistake. And if you've been following me on Twitter or on my channel, you know that I've been very bullish on MLS trying to increase the spending rules, give teams more money, let them spend more freely. Now, don't get rid of the salary cap, but let them spend more money to enhance and improve the quality of the league. I think it's a mistake because of the significance and what is coming up in the next couple years. Now, let's look at first the Club World Cup, which is next summer, 2025, and it's hosted in the United States. You have the Seattle Sounders and Inter Miami competing in this tournament, and it's on the global stage. All these teams from Europe, Asia, Africa, South America, all competing in this tournament. And as the rules are currently constructed, MLS is probably going to get embarrassed. If you look at the Sounders, their group is impossible for them to advance out of because they don't, the roster regulations and how these teams are constructed, it's not even a competition. Now, Miami has a little bit more of a favorable group where they could advance out of it, but not really with the roster rules or what they're allowed to spend at this moment. And we all know that if Miami were allowed, now some of you are going to say Miami are breaking the rules already, but if I don't believe that, but if Miami were allowed to spend more, they would put together a very competent and very competitive team that probably could be or make some noise in a tournament like this. But it's important to let these teams spend because when your team these teams are going to play in this type of tournament, you don't only want them to impress for the club, but you want them to impress for the league because they represent Major League Soccer, and you want people to have a positive perception of how far the league has come across or come along. If the league gets embarrassed and the Sounders get grouped and don't win a single game, or Miami gets grouped and don't win a single game, it looks very bad for Major League Soccer, and they need to do everything they can to prevent that from happening. Now, it's not just one tournament why they should change the rules. They should change the rules because teams are willing and ready to spend. Miami, Seattle, maybe not Seattle now because they kind of are playing. They're building the team in a very weird way, honestly, at this point. But Miami, LAFC, LA Galaxy, New York City FC, Portland's willing to spend, New York City FC, the Red Bulls. So many teams are willing to spend in Major League Soccer now, and the league is the one holding them back. Cincinnati's another team. They just spent $17, $18 million on a striker from Belgium. There are teams ready to go, and the cheap teams should not be holding the league back. Now, some people say Don Garber has no responsibility in this. He's just a puppet. He's just a representative of the league, an extension, a vessel. He can't do anything. But what you fail to realize is Don Garber is put in a position to advise the owners what is best for the league. What should they do? He is telling them what is the best path forward to helping the league succeed. He's telling them, don't do anything different. Keep going down the same path. It is the most viable path for success for the league, which I could not disagree with more. And Don Garber's just trying to build a quick cash grab for Lionel Messi in his name and not actually try to build something sustainable that's going to outlast Messi when he leaves MLS and enter Miami in a couple years. And also with the World Cup coming up, it is not the most viable path. We need to capitalize on 2026. So we'll move on to that. 2026 is the World Cup. We all know it's being hosted in the United States. And it's going to get a lot of attention, a lot of eyeballs that maybe don't normally pay attention to soccer in this country. Now, there's a lot of soccer fans in the United States. We all know that. But there might be some new fans that we're able to bring in because of an event like this. MLS needs to capitalize on getting those casual fans to stick around and support Major League Soccer. Now, how do they do that? Well, they surely don't do that by doing what they're doing right now, because if you saw the numbers, the most recent MLS Cup Finals viewership was down 50%. And you had two big market teams in the final. You had the LA Galaxy and you had the New York Red Bulls. But yet viewership was down 50% on Fox and Fox Deportes. Now, we don't get any numbers on Apple TV. We have no idea how many people watched it. They're not releasing those numbers, which I think is a bad sign, because if they were good, I feel like they would be bragging about it and wanting every possible person to know how well the game did. But viewership is down, and we need to make sure that we're enticing new fans to want to support this league and want to watch this league on a week to week basis. That's not what they're currently doing, and it has to do with quality of play. Now, you can be a loyal supporter of your team and watch every game, but a casual fan, in order for them to want to watch a Colorado Rapids game, in order for them to watch a San Jose Earthquakes game, in order for them to want to watch a Philadelphia Union game, they're going to have a reason to want to watch it because of the quality, where it's a can't miss game. MLS hasn't reached that point, and they're far from it. They need to make sure that the average game is as good as it possibly can be, and the league is as good as it can possibly be, to make people, when they watch it, they're going to be coming off the World Cup, the biggest event in the world, a sporting event at least, right? They don't want to, if they go from that to watching MLS, it's a huge quality drop off. Huge quality drop off. We need to have something fun and exciting that they're going to want to stick around and watch. Because if someone is just now getting into soccer, which there's going to be people getting into soccer, it happens every World Cup. That's where a lot of people find their passion and love for the game. They're going to be like, okay, well, MLS is okay. That's how good it is. How good's what's the best league in the world? Oh, the Premier League. Oh, the Bundesliga. Oh, La Liga. Those leagues are way better than MLS. Why is MLS so bad? Why is it so far behind? And I want to maximize the opportunity. I want to maximize this league and hit its potential. Look, you all know I love MLS. I cover it. I have a strong passion for it. It's what I do, right? But I'm also going to call it out fairly, because I know how much better it can be. You all know how much better it can be. Just because you call it out doesn't mean that you don't love the league or care about it. It just means that you want to see it be in a better place. And that's all. That's the whole reason I even cover this league, is because I want to see it in a better place than when I started covering it. I want it to reach its true potential. And I just don't think that's going to happen with Don Garber at the helm. And he just signed an extension, I think, through 2027 season. So he's not going anywhere anytime soon. He was supposed to retire after the 2018 or the 2022 season, and he just keeps extending. And we need a new vision. I mean, no commissioner should be in charge of a league for 30 years. That's just embarrassing. We need fresh ideas. We need a new perspective. We need something different, and Don Garber cannot deliver that. Now, the CBA doesn't end until 2027, okay? 1 year after the World Cup. I don't know if there's going to be any significant changes until then, unless there's just some certain sense of urgency and the ambitious owners wins out and overrides Garber's advice and they do something different. But the CBA doesn't end until 2027, and that is when the players in the league negotiate a new collective bargaining agreement for a salary cap, for minimum salary, all these type of different mechanisms of spending. That's when they do that. Now they can add other stuff like TAM, target allocation money, which was a new mechanism to help teams spend a little bit more in the middle of the roster, was designed after the CBA. You didn't need CBA approval. So there are loopholes where you can add some spending mechanisms to make the league better. It's just MLS doesn't seem like that's an urgent thing for them. It doesn't seem like they really care. Now, the real question is, if they do nothing significant between now and 2026 when the World Cup happens, will it be too late? Will this league ever be able to reach its potential if it misses out on the wave of 2026? The reason why it's such a big deal is because it's being hosted in the United States. Everybody in this country will be talking about soccer. MLS will have a shining light on it where everybody's going to be like, wait a second, what is our league? How are they going to capitalize on that? Will they be able to capitalize on it? And if they miss out on it, I think it might. I'm not saying the league is ever going to fold. When I say is it too late, I mean it's going to be too late to potentially reach its potential. Who knows when it will be again? I don't know if the World Cup will be hosted in the United States. This will be the first time it's hosted in the United States for in 32 years. Who knows when the next time we'll host another World Cup? Is it guaranteed we'll host another one? No, it's not. So it just feels like the stars are aligning and they're just completely whiffing on the most important year in Major League Soccer history. The USMNT had Greg Berhalter, who I'm not a fan of as the national team coach, and a lot of people thought they were going to squander that as well. They moved off of him and they hired Mauricio Pochettino, and they're going to maximize their potential for 2026. MLS is not matching that type of ambition of maximizing their potential. So I'm personally very disappointed in what he said. I think you all should be very disappointed in what he said. I have no confidence in Don Garber. I love Major League Soccer, but I have no confidence in him as a leader. I think he's been truly disappointing. I would love to see someone else in charge. Let me know in the comment section down below. Do you approve of Don Garber as MLS commissioner? And has he overstayed his welcome? Let me know in the comment section down below. Also, make sure you like this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And hit that little bell notification so you never miss a video. Until next time, guys, I will see you all soon.